Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we break down big company news and financial reports so you don't have to. Get ready because today we are diving into General Enterprise Ventures Inc. And let me tell you, there are a lot of moving parts here we need to unpack. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you want more of these deep dives, and join our Discord linked in the description for more exclusive content and discussions. So what we have here is not your typical quarterly report. This is an update to a registration statement, specifically an amendment. Think of it like a company filing an update to its initial application to sell stock, kind of like a dress rehearsal for going public or making a new offering. In this case, it's an amendment to their S1 form, which is the big document companies file when they want to register their securities with the SEC. This particular amendment is number 8, which tells us this isn't their first rodeo. They've been making changes and updates along the way. The company is being upfront about what this amendment is for. They're saying this update is mainly to change something called Item 16 in the document, which in this filing is the exhibits section, and to add some more supporting documents, which they call exhibits. They're also clear that the first part of their filing, the prospectus, which is like the sales pitch to investors, hasn't changed. So the focus here is on the behind-the-scenes legal and financial paperwork. Now, let's look at what they're filing. We see an underwriting agreement. An underwriter is like an investment bank that helps a company sell its shares to the public. This agreement sets the terms for how they will do that. Then we see their articles of incorporation. These are the fundamental legal documents that create the company and outline its basic structure and purpose. An amendment to these, or something like a domestication, suggests they might be changing their legal foundation or how they are organized. We're also seeing a bunch of different agreements related to warrants. Warrants are like options that give the holder the right to buy stock at a specific price. The fact that there are so many different warrant agreements, some with specific dates and parties like Bolt Rock Holdings LLC or Univest Securities LLC, tells us there's a lot of complex deal making happening around the company's stock. It indicates various investors or a lot of complex deal making happening around the company's stock. It indicates various investors or partners are being brought in and their rights to acquire shares are being laid out. They've also included an opinion from their lawyers about the validity of the securities they are registering. This is a standard but important step, essentially a legal stamp of approval saying that everything is in order from a legal standpoint for these securities to be offered. Here's something interesting, a safer choice agreement with the EPA for something called Mighty Firebreaker LLC. This suggests a connection to environmental products or services and that the company or a subsidiary is possibly involved in something related to fire prevention or safer chemical alternatives. We also see employment and consulting agreements, including one with Joshua Ralston. This often points to key personnel and how they are compensated or engaged by the company. More on the deals, we have a subscription agreement with Bolt Rock Holdings for a convertible note. A convertible note is a loan that can be converted into stock later, often at a discount. This means Bolt Rock is essentially providing funding now in exchange for potential ownership down the line. Our code of ethics is also filed. This document lays out the company's standards for ethical conduct for its employees and leaders. It's a sign of them trying to establish good governance practices, and they've listed their subsidiaries. This gives us a look at the different parts or companies that make up the larger General Enterprise Ventures Inc. There's a consent from an accounting firm, WWCPC. This likely means they've been involved in auditing or reviewing some of the company's financial information, which is a good sign for transparency. A power of attorney is also mentioned. This allows someone to act on behalf of the company or its officers for specific matters, often for legal or financial transactions. The Grandguard Gold test results are intriguing. Grandguard is a certification for low chemical emissions for products. This strongly supports the idea that General Enterprise Ventures is involved in products related to health, safety, and environmental impact, possibly in building materials or indoor air quality. The gold certification would represent a higher standard. Finally, the filing fee table. This is just the nitty-gritty of what the company paid to the SEC to process this filing. It tells us they are paying for the service of registering their securities. Looking at the signatures, Theodore Ralston is signing as President and Chief Executive Officer. This confirms he's at the top leading the company. Theodore Ralston is also listed as Director, Chairman, President, and Chief Executive Officer. This concentration of roles, especially Chairman and CEO, is very common in smaller or growing companies. It means he has significant control over the board and the company's direction. Nanak Warman is listed as Secretary and Chief Financial Officer, taking on both the administrative role of Secretary and the critical financial oversight as CFO. Sometimes the Chief Executive Officer title here for Nanak Warman might be a typo and it meant Chief Financial Officer, as he is also listed as Principal Financial Officer and Principal Accounting Officer. This dual role is also common in smaller companies, where key individuals wear multiple hats, and we see other directors like Jeffrey Pomerantz and John Costa. Directors are responsible for overseeing the company's management and ensuring it acts in the best interests of shareholders. Now let's try to piece together the story here. General Enterprise Ventures, Inc. appears to be a company in transition, likely aiming to raise capital or formalize its public offering process. The significant number of warrant agreements suggests they've been actively engaging with investors and partners, possibly to fund operations or specific projects. The mention of Mighty Firebreaker LLC and the Grandeur House certification strongly hints at a business focused on eco-friendly or health-conscious products, potentially in the construction or home improvement sector. The repeated filings and amendments point to a company that is actively shaping its structure and strategy for growth or a public debut. The concentration of leadership roles in Theodore Ralston and Nanak Warman is typical for a company at this stage, where founders and early key members often manage multiple critical functions. The presence of legal opinions and the various agreements signal a deliberate and structured approach to navigating the complex regulatory landscape of public markets. The company's direction seems to be towards establishing a formal public presence, backed by diverse financial agreements and a focus on specific product certifications like Grandeur, indicating a market niche they are targeting, likely in health and safety. One of the notable strengths could be their proactive approach to securing funding and partnerships through various agreements. However, a key risk for a company at this stage, with multiple amendments and complex financial instruments like convertible notes and warrants, is the potential for dilution of existing shareholder value if these instruments are converted or exercised. Additionally, effectively managing multiple subsidiaries and diverse business interests, as suggested by the list of subsidiaries and diverse, a key risk for a company at this stage with multiple amendments and complex financial instruments like converted or exercised. Additionally, effectively managing multiple subsidiaries and diverse business interests, as suggested by the list of subsidiaries and the EPA agreement, can be a significant challenge. In conclusion, General Enterprise Ventures, Inc. is showing signs of serious preparation for a more public or expanded operational phase. The filings detail a company building its legal and financial framework while also hinting at a product-focused strategy centered on health and environmental certifications. Investors would want to closely watch how these various financial instruments play out and how the company executes its operational strategy, especially in the competitive space of eco-conscious products. What's your take on General Enterprise Ventures' strategy and their recent filings? Let me know in the comments below if you found this breakdown helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up, it really helps us out. And of course, subscribe for more corporate deep dives like this. Don't forget to join our Discord community, the link is in the description, for more insights and to chat with us directly. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one.